students. Today we are going to start lesson number 3, Fiber to Fabric. Before we start the explanation in brief, I want to ask one simple question to you all. Why do we wear clothes? The primary purpose of clothes is to cover our body and protect ourselves from extreme cold, heat, rain and snow. But in ancient time, people use the bark of trees, big leaves of trees, animal skin and fur to cover themselves. When people began to practice agriculture and settle at the places near the sources of water like rivers, they learned to weave thin shoots of the trees and grass to make mats and baskets, etc. After that, very thin stem of the climbing plants and animal hair such as sheep's wool were twisted together to form a long strand. These strands were then woven into a fabrics. Ultimately, people started growing cotton and flax plant to obtain the fibers for making fabrics. These crops were grown near the sources of water like river so as to get the sufficient water for irrigation. For example, the early Indian grow cotton crop in the region near the river Ganga to obtain cotton fibers for making the fabrics. And in ancient Egypt, cotton as well as flax crop were cultivated near the river Nile and their fibers used for making fabrics. In those days, stitching of the fabric or cloth to make the clothes like shirt, pant, etc. was not known. People just wrapped the fabrics around the different body parts to cover themselves. After the invention of the sewing needle, people started the stitching fabrics to make different type of clothes. In the beginning, the clothes used to be hand stitched, but these days sewing machines are used for quick stitching of the clothes. Our shirt, pant, kurtas, pajama and blouse etc. are all the example of stitched clothes. Now let's start with the variety of fabrics. Students, clothes are made from fabrics. If we go to the cloth shop in the market, we can see a large variety of clothes. Some fabrics are made of cotton, other are made up of wool or silk, whereas still other are made of synthetic material or the man-made material. Thus, the various type of fabrics which are commonly used by us are cotton fabrics, woolen fabrics, silk fabrics and synthetic fabrics. We usually wear clothes made up of cotton fabrics during the hot day of summer season, and woolen clothes are worn in the cold day of winter. And the clothes made up of silk and synthetic fabrics are most comfortable when the weather is neither very hot nor very cold. Beside clothing, we also use the fabrics to make bed sheets, curtains, cushion covers. In kitchen, we need the dusters and mops which are also developed from the fabrics. Before we go further, we should know the meaning of term fiber, fabrics and yarn. First is a fiber. Fiber is very thin, long and a flexible thread from which cloth is made. I again repeat the definition. Fiber is very thin, flexible and long thread which from the cloth is made. Second is a yarn. Yarn is a thread. Yarn is a spun means a twisted thread which is used for weaving the fabrics. Yarn is a spun means a twisted thread which is used for weaving fabrics, and a fabric means A fabric is made up of yarn or thread woven together. Now, let us start with the sources of fibers. Fibers can be classified into two main categories. First is the natural fiber and second is a synthetic fibers. First is natural fiber. The fibers which are obtained from the natural sources like plants and animals are called natural fiber. The fibers which are obtained from natural sources like plants and animals are called natural fibers. The examples of natural fibers are cotton, jute, silk, wool, and flax. The cotton, jute, and flax are the plant fibers, and silk and wool are obtained from the animals. Now, let us start with the plant fibers. Plant fibers are classified into different categories depending on the part of the plant they are extracted from. These are number 1. First is a fruit fibers. The fibers which are obtained from the fruits of plant are called fruit fibers. The fibers which are obtained from fruits of plants are called fruit fibers. For example, cotton and coconut fiber. Second is a bast fibers. The fiber which are obtained from the stem of plant are called bast fiber. The fiber which are obtained from the stem of the plant are called bast fibers. For example, jute and flax. The bast fiber are generally very long. Then number 3 is a leaf fiber. The fiber which are obtained from the leaves of plant are called leaf fibers. The leaf fibers are very rough. So for example is a sisal is the example of leaf fiber. Number 4 is a stalk fiber. The fiber which are actually obtained from the stalk of the plant. It's called stalk fiber. Straws of the wheat, rice and barley are some examples. And last one is a seed fibers. The fibers which are obtained or collected from the seeds of plant are called seeds fibers. The fiber which are collected from the seeds of plant are called seeds fiber. For example, cotton.